be my guest, and I'll help you out with that if you want. Again, there's the bell. It's Friday the 24th of August. We've got one more week left in the month. Okay, after the open, attempt to always give it a couple of minutes to open, not a couple of months, and kind of let the dust settle. And let's see. There goes the NASDAQ. Nice move. I can't get into it this quickly. I mean this early. Okay. All right. The Russell got a buy signal right there at right there about 1723 half. Looks like it's already starting to pull back. We'll give it a few minutes here. Nasdaq's already pulling back. Dow, S&P's up. That was a 3-minute, but it looks like it's wanting to reverse back already. And so they've sucked the people into the long side there in the Nasdaq, and now they're ripping their lips off. Russell not necessarily so bad. It is in an upward trend. Dow's in an upward trend. S&P, they're fighting with this level. And the Bulls and Bears try to figure out who's going to win today. And it looks like the Nasdaq's tried to resolve to the upside. Janice, I think that's the niche that I wanted to try to attack because I didn't notice anybody else out there that was tailored to the little guy. I'll call it the average trader. And you can make more by just scaling it up, adding an extra contract to go to 3 instead of 2, or multiply it by 2 and doing exactly the same as I did. Right. You do have to have the expertise and the ability. You have to earn the right to go to higher number of contracts in my book. Okay, the Nasdaq looks like it wants to attack the daily highs. It did get a buy signal while I was chatting there. Not sure I really like the momentum indicators there, but we'll see. Friday, when I did my journals a few years ago, was my worst day of trading. So I learned from that. I become extremely choosy and picky on the entries. So I'd rather pass up a trade and be on the sidelines wishing I were in than being in a trade wishing I were not. And I especially do that on Friday, and I've actually, I'm not going to try to jinx myself, but Friday's turned out to be my best day so far now. It's turned it from my worst day to best day because I'm being picky. Russell looks like it's trying to break out to a new day high. Right here. It's still long, I think, from this other one over here. We are getting the Mexican jumping beans going. Or guess playing ping pong. So we'll let it settle. We're not even 5 minutes into the market. I'm okay with that. And if I don't take a trade today, and I've done that, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, that's fine with me. I don't have to trade. We're going to take a setup that works. We're not going to push it. We're not going to force it. Okay, there the NASDAQ gave us a sell signal. Yeah, not so sure about that. And now it flipped back up to a long signal. I'm not so sure about that one either. We'll just sit back. Let it establish a trend, and then we'll jump on board the trend. Right now, it just has a large trading range. Since we opened this morning around 74.45, and we're up to around the 60s, the low 60s. Right. Well, start with sim trading. Sim trade for a month or two, and you're going to say, "Well, it's going to cost me money, and I'm sitting here and I'm not earning anything or whatever." I'm sorry, but it'll probably cost you more money if you try to trade with live in your live account. You'll end up giving it away to Mr. Market. So let's do it in a sim mode. Earn the right to go to Rio Cash, trade small at Rio Cash, like you said, Bob, and then do that successfully for probably 3 to 6 months. If you don't trade every day, it'll be closer to 6. If you trade every day, it'll be probably closer to 3. And I did have there was a presentation on how to critique yourself every day, not necessarily every trade, although every trade works if you don't have a whole lot of them. And please do not overtrade when you finally start trading. Don't just hit the buttons. That's probably the biggest thing that I've seen people do is it's so easy for them to be anxious and want to jump on everything rather than be picky. All right, the Russell is just kind of zigzagging upwards on an upwards incline. So is the NASDAQ. S&P, that's kind of a bullish candle there, or pattern, I mean. I'm seeing, we're basically doing a wedge, rising wedge. Usually resolves itself to the upside. As long as we stay above the volatility stop, I would see that resolving upwards. NASDAQ has resolved to the downside. Now there's a potential short setting up. I'm on the wrong time frame here, on a 6. Still a potential. It'd have to get down probably below 48. And then it would make a run to what? About 8 points times 4 would be 32 ticks. So on the NASDAQ, I usually look for 30 to 50 ticks available, and then try to take my half out of the middle. There goes the breakout what we were talking about, we think, in the S&P. And will that pull everybody else up? It'll probably pull the Dow up, we think. Big multinationals. Jackson Hole is going on today. And if I remember right, let's look at NASDAQ calendar. I thought we had something at 10. Nope. Jerome Powell speaks at 10. Okay, that's the Fed chief. He's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So once he starts to talk, the markets could get a little action going there. So be aware of that. That'll be right at one of the first reversal times. The first one's 5 minutes into the market. That's usually how long it takes for all the stocks to open up and the retail orders are done. Then the pros take over. Grinding higher there in that S&P. That looks good. NASDAQ keeps pulling back and going higher. Riding that wall of worry, riding up the 20 exponential. No longs or shorts that I've seen yet. even though we've got a Dow long signal here. The momentums are not in the perfect position, to be honest with you. It would be nice if they were closer to the zero line coming up. Doesn't mean they have to be there, but it does help. NASDAQ's coming back up towards the high of the day. Are we going to do a breakout? Don't know. The R squeeze indicator, the one on the bottom here, looks okay. The momentum indicator, the NetPix chop filter, is just so-so. We're coming up also on R1, but I don't have any other swing levels above, so right now we've been up there 1, 2, 3. This is the fourth time we've been up. We either break out now or we don't. Oh, that's Captain Obvious there. Sorry. R1 on the S&P just got tagged, and now it's pulling back. We're running into sellers. And if you guys have any, gals have any questions, please post them out there. I'll be happy to answer them when I can. And I'm just doing a big cross check here. We haven't seen anything. I've got crude oil. Crude oil is pretty much backing off. Let's see crude oil over here. Get rid of the chart trader there. Hit. All right, now you can see where crude oil is basically in a downtrend. It did a kind of a 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern right in here. It could have been a short, but I wasn't watching it. I tend not to trade crude oil except on the inventory report. That's just a personal preference. I found that on the inventory report, I tend to do fairly well. Other times when I'm trying to trade it, it's not as successful. So the same things that I do well at, I try to repeat. And things that I'm not doing so well in, I try to fix it or don't trade it. Kind of back it off on the S&P. Just kind of nothingness grinding on the Dow here. This has been that way for a couple of weeks now. Let me zoom down into a smaller, I'll call it a time frame, but it's really not. It's not time based. I'll do it basically the faster period. We're backing off on the NASDAQ as well. Backing off a little bit on the Russell. I do like to use the slower moving charts of 10 and 6 on the Rincos. What happens with that, though, is I have to give it a wider berth, which means taking on more risk. In dollar amounts, that is. But if it doesn't hit my reward to risk ratio that I want, I won't get in. Right now we're 15 minutes into the market. We've had just kind of grinding. Paul, from 9:15 till about 11 or 11:30 is the only guarantee that we've got. We'll do anything that involves in the afternoon a FOMC meeting, FOMC minutes. We'll meet. Wednesday they released the minutes and it was a non-event, so we shut down after about 20 minutes or so. But if it's active and we know it in advance, we'll be available in the afternoon. We're going to also see if we can do some limited nighttime sessions, so I can talk the Asia session. And if we have like not next Friday, Friday after next, we'll have the monthly jobs data report. We'll come on so that we're live at 8:30 when the report happens, because it could be market moving. So if we know something is going to come out early, we'll adjust our time. But the standard time is 9:15 to about 11:15, a couple of hours, and we can meet our goals and our quota in those 2 hours, 90% of the time. I mean, we're done. In fact, yesterday I think I was done 6 minutes into the day. All right, the Nasdaq's backing off. Looks like the Russell's backing off. There goes the Dow. S&P is still in an uptrend. Kind of, it's starting to curl over. I just don't see these as giving up the ghost that easily, though. Let me show you what's happening with the. I'm going to go ahead and use the word time frame, but don't hold me to that. It's not a time based. This is the faster settings, and it got to target one over here. They're battling this swing level, and that's why we're getting a bounce. Now from reading my information that I like to do the zigzag pattern. I'd like to do. If I grab it too fast, it grabs the wrong one. Get down to here, bounce, and then break through it the second time down. As long as the bounce is not too high, it doesn't take out my stop, I can go short. And it looks like the Dow is bouncing off its level of support. The Russell has two levels here that are pretty close to one another. They're also setting up for shorts. If I take the Russell, let me show you what the 4 looks like. The 4 unit Renko already has the break, and as I expected, it gave a short signal right there on the break of the swing level, but we're getting our bounce reaction. As long as that bounce doesn't go over about 23.5 or so, maybe 24. It'll be okay, but if it doesn't roll back over here, it's not going to work. And Nasdaq bounced enough to be back into chop, so I don't necessarily like it. And I have to be careful to try to talk myself into trades by going to lower time frames. So let me back up. If it doesn't work for these higher time frames, it's not really probably worthwhile. This Dow will take it back to a 10. I don't know the last time we traded the Dow. It may have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's a personal decision, Paul. Some people, you got to start off. If you're brand new, $100 a day, $200 a day. I mean, $100 a day times 20 days in a month. I mean, that's going to average, not just make 100 and quit, but that's 2,000 a month. That's what our goal and quota is here, to get 200 to 250 in a day and quit. It's the power of quitting. And now you look at the little bit of bounces coming in here. It's a good thing we didn't let ourselves get sucked into shorts. Now, if I have, did you get to watch any of the presentations that I made yet, Paul? There were too many people in the Denver trading group last night for me to recognize everybody. I went over the the power of quitting. If you, my idea is if I have 3 losing trades in a row, or hit a negative, to say for me it's about 400 to 450 bucks, I'm out of sync with the market. It's obvious when I'm not doing that well, and I need to quit, or I'm going to give a lot more back. But I no more revenge trading and things like that. That's how you lose your account. Blow it up. Preserve capital. Come back and fight another day. All right. We've had a huge wicks here on the S&P today. They really don't know which way they want to go. And if they don't know where they want to go, I don't want to be in the middle of it. I'm looking at the NASDAQ here, which is my primary trading vehicle normally. This is the 5-minute opening range. Unless we break down below it and then some, or up above it where these peach colored lines are, I shouldn't be trading. The Russell, its lines are probably, well, right here now. And let's see if we can color that into peach. I peach because it shows up well. A little too thick. Let's get it less than 3. Or to the upside. And my bias is that they'll try to pull back here on the Friday. Don't know. All right, it's Russell's coming back to the highs. They all seem to be coming back to the highs. Got another buy signal in the NASDAQ, but it's not a breakout yet. Not inside Ninja, but Pac-Man, I have one that I can give to people. The one that I got here, I'm trying to remember where I got it from. I probably got it off of some site. Don't know whether I paid for it or not. It's kind of hard to keep track of them all. I probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 indicators, but I only use 7 or 8. We're getting a little break in the action here. I'll take a look. Let me back off on the Russell there. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave that up. I just seem to be a lot calmer on Fridays nowadays because I'm not in a hurry. That NASDAQ momentum indicator down here, it's still in chop mode, which means don't trade, but looks like it's trying to break to the upside. The R squeeze is in the middle. That basically is telling me when that's at this level here, that's chop. You don't, that shows up, let me get a larger scale. That shows up in the flip-flopping of the moving averages there. I don't necessarily need an indicator to totally see it. Have you done a Google search on opening range indicator for Ninja there, TJ, to find anything? You may want to give that a shot, and I'll see where mine is in just a little bit, where I got it from, if I can tell. Hi, Paul. Well, I will, but can we get a little bit further down the road? I'll actually bring up a present. Actually, the presentation. Actually, you can go here. Let me do this. And I want to say welcome. Open up that DTG presentation. Go down into about the fourth slide or so. And whoops. I actually didn't mean to open that up right away. What happened here? That DTG presentation, that's not it. Okay, disregard that. I'm going to have to take that one off. That's an invitation. Okay. Let me pull that out of the way. Cancel, cancel. Hold on one second there, Herbert. Okay, this was the one I meant to post. Try that one. 2,000 a month. Go to third or fourth presentation slide. And a little bit about my background. I'm an ex-Air Force fighter pilot. 20 years, 5 days, and 12 hours in the military. Who was counting, right? I got master's degree in both computers and business. So I'm pretty much an engineer. So that's one strike against me to start with. One in my favor, being a fighter pilot. I'm used to winging it. 21 years training experience, full time since 2009. Had a Series 7 license until I no longer worked for a financial firm. So it's lapsed, but I still have the knowledge. I'm a technical trader. Some of them are free, TJ, some are not. Some of them you sign up. Well, to me, engineer is more a philosophy and mentality. Where computers, to deal with computers, there's the mathematics and the physics involved. But engineering is very methodical, and there are rules that you follow, type of thing. So it's a way of thinking, a way of living. 1 + 1 = 1 always. Well, in trading, 1 + 1 + 1 could either equal 3 or 111, according to how you look at it. Okay, the Russell's in its band. The NASDAQ is in its band. And if we really want to establish a band of control, we're looking at a similar one in the Dow. So I'm not in a all-fired hurry. Let's change this one. Give me 1 second. I'll be back with you. I'm changing something over here. Okay, that's the upper boundary on the Dow. And right now I'm seeing a lower boundary right about 707, but you could make a case for it being lower than that. You can make a case for it being a primary pivot or even lower. So well, I have to agree with that to some point, but also, John, the people that have options out there, they'll move on the Fridays to try to make the weekly options expire worthless. It isn't totally so, but mostly so. Russell's coming back in the lower half of that trading range. NASDAQ's basically stuck in the middle. Hey, diddle diddle, stuck in the middle. And basically so is the S&P. So we're going nowhere fast at the moment. I was talking a little bit about, Paul, about Do we have a mentor? Do you figure out how to be profitable in the futures market? I had a mentor back in the 1990s. It was all stock related, and most of the stuff that he taught I've since discarded because he talked about Fibonacci's a lot. He talked about volume and price, and I don't know. The volume, the Fibonacci side, I actually still look at, but I only use them to help project where stocks would go if I don't have prior prices to show, like at all-time highs. It just gives me a rough idea, and I'll play Fibonacci's and then look um, and see if there are levels back to the left that would support. Yep. You're right there, John. All they have to do is just move it around and get people scared and move people out. Russell coming back up towards the high of the day. So is our okay. There goes the S&P. What's it going to do when it gets to R1? We got a long signal. There's the breakout in the NASDAQ, and I missed it. Let's see if it comes back and does our zigzag. The momentum indicators are both set up pretty well. Well, I guess we got our pullback. It was intra-candle. There's the Russell looking to try to break out. It's also at R1. Yeah, this is the run. 10 o'clock. And NASDAQ hit target 1. Target 1 I usually take off. Oh, started the Powell speech. Yeah, that's true. They usually release the contents of the speech in advance. So I'm not sure why him just taking the podium would. But thanks, Herbert. I'm not sure how taking the podium would cause that much of excitement in the markets, unless that was when they released the. Unless it charts off. Yeah. Well. Oh, right. Sorry, because I had it frozen because I was trying to show the peach. Thank you. Did that again yesterday, Pablo. Thank you. Well, a different kind of frozen. When I go over here to the left and it sits there with the black arrow. I have to be very careful with these small thumbnails, basically. Yeah, Max Payne. And now, Herbert, what are the 3 ES indicators? There's a 3-minute chart. I'll cover in just a minute what everything is on there, but they're basically the same. This middle one is a NetPicks chop filter. It's free for NinjaTrader 7 and for Thinkorswim. But for NinjaTrader 8, they went to it's only released with their systems proprietary. But the free out here is the R squeeze, which is basically any one of the squeezes I could give for NinjaTrader 8. I can give that to people. I know that one's free. It's called an R squeeze. If you know anything but John Carter, that he kind of popularized the squeeze, although he didn't invent it. He kind of wants people to get the impression that he was the author. He doesn't say that. Okay. All right. Obviously, I've got Herbert. I've got the Trader pivots, standard out of NinjaTrader, standard probably out of most charting programs. I've got the 5-minute opening range. And I got standard 3-minute. We'll have ticks. I also have the Counterpunch Trader, which will nominate buy signals like these crosses or sell signal with a cross to the lower side. Then it'll nominate the first target, the second target, and the third target will be the largest dot. So it's right there. And the little bitty orange dot or yellow dot is where money management should come in. They'll actually raise their stops when they have a long, like they're in long now. Their stop on this one is all the way down. It's all the way down here at this level of 28.63 and a quarter. So the risk is 17 points. I think it's 17. I don't trade it, so I don't. I'd have to go through the calculations. And on a Friday, my brain's in. By Friday, my brain's mush. Oh, is that right, Bill? Okay. Well, pride. I know that I didn't invent hardly anything. If you ain't stealing, you ain't trying. What you do is you go find somebody that's using something you like. You pull one bit from one person, one bit from another, and one from another, and it becomes your system. It's really a momentum indicator there, Kelly, and I didn't. Okay, hold on a second. We still got some trading to go on here. Looks like the Russell's getting down towards some interesting levels. Yeah, that 12 would be 21, I say. That's probably the interesting level. And look what happened here in the NASDAQ. It pulled all the way to the breakout level again. Now, I don't know that it has enough momentum to break out again. All right, Kellyanne asks, is it just showing that there's chop, or does it have any other capacity to suggest a chop on the way? Maybe, maybe not. What it does is it really says where the momentum is. So in this case, it says the momentum's going down. This is the momentum on a higher time frame than the R squeeze. They're both momentum oscillators and indicators. I like the R squeeze a little bit better than the chop filter that's here, and I call this the momentum, and then the R squeeze. They're both momentums, and I use them both because one is fast, the squeeze, one's slower, much slower, but about five times slower, and I can judge whether they're losing steam. Like this one was going up, it looked like the little blue line here is going up less and less and less. The slope changes. Oh, one thing I did not cover, and I'm bouncing all over the place, I apologize. The orange dots and blue dots are swing levels straight out of NinjaTrader. I set the strength to 3. Out of the box, I believe it's 5. You probably wouldn't see any in our time frames at 5, or very few of them. The big green dots at the below and the big red dots above, those are generated by Counterpunch Trader, and if you notice, they're basically at the same levels as my swing, but they're at a swing level plus 2 ticks. So it gives you an idea that if you want to go long above this breakout, and the breakout here, you would want to use 2 ticks above. Like here at the Dow, you use the red dot. Okay, you've got a long here in the S&P from 68 quarter. You see this little green dot here? That's where it thinks the stop is. Nominate stop. 19. That can't be 19 ticks, because each one of these is 4. 68 to 68 is 5 times 4. It is 19 ticks. That's not too bad. So I did force myself to do that. If I were doing it, I'd use the swing level here. Don't have to be 2 ticks below that. In fact, you see the little lime colored green dots? That's the volatility stop. you'd probably want to be, well, the reason you don't want to necessarily be up there is that we've already had one excursion down to 86 3/4, but you're not in yet. And what I've got is I've got a couple of indicators for where stops should be and what potential targets would be. And it's a judgment call as to which one I use. And I'm sorry, that's not mechanical. I do tend to try to go in a mechanical method. I'll do a 15, if I'll take 2 contracts, I start with my stop at 20, but I'll adjust it up or down based upon where the swing levels are. And then my targets, I'm aiming to get a quick one off at 15 ticks and then 35 or higher for the second contract. And the whole idea is if I could get to target 1, I'm basically got a free trade. Right now we're just in the trading range. The Nasdaq's pulling right back in. We're now looking at 1010. So I do appreciate all these questions. Oh, you see, Kellyanne says, I tend to have most of my losses when I enter, only find myself moving into chop. Well, I tell you what, if you use the swing levels, that'll pretty much keep you honest as well, because, and I'll use different kinds of swing levels. The larger swing levels, I could potentially, on this one, probably even move that one down to here. Although, if Dow breaks through 707, it's probably going down here to the 80s. You know, that's 27 ticks. Russell is right back into its old trading range. Nasdaq looks like it's coming back into its old trading range. I adjusted the top part of the trading range on the Dow to kind of match really what I guess the pre-market. And you say it exceeded it, hit the R1 level, and then backed off. Is that R1? Yeah. So that's kind of what it did. So the markets are chopping around. And some of them can be chopping around in some fairly significant numbers. At some point, the market's going to stop this chop. And they're going to have a run. Our idea is needs, okay, we've got a NASDAQ short showing up. It showed up late. No way we can get into it now with the support levels. The targets would be 53. We would have had to gone short somewhere around this 63 quarter. There's no way I would have done that. You know, it just did the breakdown of the trend change to lower. We could just be doing another zigzag into chop. Up here, get people long, come back and get them out, and then just keep doing that all day long. All right, I need to go get something to wet my whistle. I'll be right back. Hey, baby. Where's Lilo? Biscuit? Buddy, here you go. Okay, I'm back. About the only thing we could be doing right now, and this is dangerous, is trying to scalp. I'd rather not. I'm a trend trader. I don't want to try to guess or try to be right. I want the market to earn my money and prove that it deserves for me to be going. Looks like the Russell's coming back up to the high of the day, up towards that R1 level. The momentum oscillators are looking pretty good there. Boy howdy, I'd like to see some sort of consolidation happen up here. I'm not gonna. The momentums look okay, but I've got to get a breakout. I've got to get some sort of pattern up there I recognize. Most of the time, I leave my charts up. Weather permitting, I live in Orlando, Florida. Thunderstorms, I'll bring it down only if I have thunderstorms, but I can read it up to the rest of the day if people want. I'd strongly suggest if you use a journal, and I'm watching this Russell like a hawk, and find out whether you do better only in the mornings, and that's why the mornings for me, primarily because I found with my journal entries that I made money in the morning and gave some of it back in the afternoon. So cut out the part that doesn't work, right? Now, for yourself, you may find it's a little different for you. Now, I've got a choice now of whether to buy the breakout that's going to happen here on the Russell or not. The S&P looks like it might want to go up. So NASDAQ just gave a buy signal, but I'm not going long there. I'll come back and read your comments in a second. I'm just watching the markets. Normally the Nasdaq and Russell tend to go together, and the Dow and the S&P tend to go somewhat together. And now you see why I didn't get too awfully fired up to get in the Russell right now. Now it's starting to form what could be a continuation pattern. If we form a red candle here and then a green candle and break out, that'll be a continuation pattern, and the amount of movement should be equal to the one above that got us there. So from 24, call it to 26, that's 2 to 2.5, and it's failing unless I get a green candle here. The markets just don't have enough strength in either direction. It's non-committal. Pull this. Okay. Is that? Okay, we go to John's case about price of trade. Okay, is that question addressed, Paul, to John K. or to me? Both. Well, the idea of the monthly figure, whatever is John's, I have to take him at his word there. I wouldn't have time in the middle of the day to go back out there and look at it and go back over many months to find out. I assume that since he's traded quite a bit, that it's probably valid. Yeah, I mean, I said usually or normally, and it doesn't necessarily be in lockstep, but these, uh, well, they're not at necessarily the same time frame. 10 o'clock and 10 o'clock. The highs are around 10 o'clock. Then the Russell went up at 10:17, and the Nasdaq at 10:17 is going just back in the middle. So I say just normally they kind of go in the same direction. No, you're not. There are some divergence, and in fact, there was a couple times this week. You may or may not have been here that the Russell just kind of went off on its own. It started going lower, and everything else was going up. Rotation. We really can't. We just have to trade the charts. But that's why when they go in unison, it'll be these two normally. That's why they're on the right hand side. And if there is any uniformity or coincidental type of stuff, you're talking about over on the left, the Dow and the S&P. Now, an aggressive trader could go long the Nasdaq right here and look for a move to 72 and a quarter. The momentum, R squeeze is coming up from the bottom. The momentum's just kind of looking iffy though. It's still in that trading zone, is it? No, it's above the trading zone. But it's still not perfect for me, And this is perfect Friday. Yes, Paul, all you have to do is go over the top of their name. You left click on that name, and then you'll get a pop-up menu, and towards the bottom you'll see private message. We some moderators turn that off so you guys can't do that. I don't have any problems with you doing that. Some people won't let you post up charts or websites or whatever. Or obviously, if you post a website that's a competitor and trying to sell something in here, I'll just knock you out of the room. But if you're just trying to post something you're trying to share with somebody, by all means, please do. Yeah, I mean, okay. My attitude here is that I'm here trading this. I'm trading my money. You're looking over my shoulder. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'll try to maybe convince you that my thoughts are okay, but I'll listen. I'm open for suggestions. I'm not rigid as far as this is the only way to trade or this is the only thing that we're going to do. I have some constraints that I have to live with as to what time frames I could trade or whatever. I mean, in the afternoons is when I've got an 80 some odd year old mother who lives just down the road, and I have to take her to the doctor occasionally, and I'll do that in the afternoons. So it kind of fits, but it fits already because I just said, hey, I've already told you. My journal told me I'd get money back in the afternoon, so stop it. Or trade a little differently, maybe, but it was easier to just stop. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. And the other thing is there's a program out there called Jing, Jing. Let me get you the link here. Just a little information about Jing, the tool. I'm going to be brutally honest there, TJ. I don't have the journal that I create any longer. I create journals when I'm trying new things, but I tried it religiously for the first 6 to 9 months. I recorded every trade. I can post out gosh, I'm not sure. Okay, we're looking like now I'm getting a little interested in the NASDAQ. Nah, doesn't look like it's ready yet. I went to a new computer and I seem to have lost my futures journals. I don't know what I did with them. Maybe I didn't copy them over. I do have one that I showed on that I've got still available for my day trading of stocks, and basically that could be exactly the same, except it's stocks. I go out there and find it and can post it up. I might have to go to my backup drive, so it might take a while. And now I promised you guys things. Hold me to it. One's the journal, and one of them, Mike wanted me to give him something. So I've got 2 action items today. I'll write those down, so I can't get away without doing it. Journal is a wonderful thing to do, and to annotate, primarily about what are your thoughts. What the hell were you looking at? Looks like the Nasdaq's trying to go higher, but it's having trouble. And okay, S&P. Let's show you what we're doing here. This may look a little bit like. Does that kind of look like a wedge to you? The upper level price is about the same, and the lower, even though we did the dip here, the last 5 candles is up. Let me see if I have a journal. I put it as a spreadsheet. There goes the Nasdaq. It's finally working. We think. It does have a level of around 74.70 that's going to fight to get through, but it probably will. This one didn't explode through here. The slope on that trend line and the momentum is just, it's not there. Let me post this up here in the room. I found one for my, oh, sorry. Plus, browse, libraries. Okay, there is a spreadsheet. It was, I've got it from my coaching days in, let's see if there's any, well, see the grind that's happening here? Well, we're also looking at the possibility that that might be a continuation move. And it looks like the, yeah, the move above that high here could be a continuation move above 73.
Order filled.
All right, I may regret this. May regret this. I should have made it break out first, but that's a continuation move if it moves. Oh, shut up and go away. All these political calls. That won't be a political call. That's Publix. All right. Got to be patient here. The momentums are pointing up. Our squeeze is pointing up. The trend line's pointing up. If we get over 73, we could get a little bit of a pop. Probably should have let it. Yes, I know it is.
Castleberry Commons.
Okay,
A
stop.
member of your household has one prescription.
Okay, it'll probably break out. Now, will it follow through is the question. Oops, let me get this expanded for you. I'm sorry. And it's battling that 73 area. It poked its head over and it's trying to decide whether it really wants to go up or not. Now, the total upper highs are up here at 75. Russell's coming back up to the highs. I'm not able to look at the S&P right now. Not looking so good here. I need for this candle to close higher, really. And it doesn't look like it's going to do that. If it gets below 68 quarter, I'm probably going to dive out of this. The average true range. The volatility stop is back here at 64. So just have to be patient here. Yeah, well, 68.6 is what we pretty much got to. Thanks, Pablo, or Kellyan. I appreciate you. Do you have your pom-poms today there, Pablo? I didn't ask about the skirt, though. No, I didn't intend to do that. Take it as a limit order. I'll have to look at that. That meant that originally they were markets, and that you just brought that up to my attention there, TJ. Thank you. Looks like we may get our target one taken out.
Target filled.
All right, let's move the stop up. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get higher. Target 2 would be 74. Target 3 is all the way up here at 84 and a quarter. And yesterday I got out way too early and gave up a 40 ticker or two. Okay, we just hit target 2. I'm just going to get a little greedy here. Let's see. I still got the momentum pointing up. But, you know, if we get down below the last candle, say at 76, I'm probably going to go ahead and take it. What I've got that stop in there for is kind of emergency if it just totally collapses. which you could do. I've had it happen before. But basically, I'm looking at this prior candle right about there and a couple ticks below it. Now, it's not like I'm using anything that anybody else uses, so they won't know where my stop will be. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate that. And this is the beauty of this room, of any room, really, especially if you get people that are willing to post out there, stick their neck out, say something, and you get a moderator that, like myself, I'm not the only one that has an opinion out there that's worth a hoot. So, now we got 26 ticks on this. We probably had close to 30 on that move up. I'm trying to get up to 35 or so, but we'll see if we get that high. It's starting to... I'm starting to see a little bit of weakness in this blue part of the indicator here in the momentum, but not too bad. The biggest one is going to be when I see weakness in the R squeeze here. When I start seeing negative indications there. And I don't see any yet. I'll keep moving this order away from me, from price. See if I can get up there. Yeah, we've got our 35, so yeah. I haven't seen any weakness in the R squeeze yet. The momentum is still pointing up. We could get ourselves a pullback or a wobble here. Now, I have to decide whether I just say, you know what, I'll take 36 ticks or whatever and go, or do I want to get greedy and try to go for higher? Right now, because I've got the momentum in my favor, I want to go higher. Okay. Just inching that stop up, so if we get a massive turnaround quickly. And thank you very much, TJ, for pointing out the error in my... I did not intend to have limit orders. Not at all. I've been trading like that for God knows how long. I mean, I did make a change recently when I went over to NinjaTrader 8 and something else. Well, almost to target 3, which would be 74.5. 84.5, I mean. And there it is. I don't see any... We're getting awfully extended in these things. It's where I start to get nervous. Target 3 is about the max you normally get. But say normal. What's normal? I have not seen a candle on my R squeeze tell me that it's time to sell yet. So let's just move this up. I mean,
Order filled.
all right, I went ahead and took it. I had 40 something ticks. Will it go higher? Way to go. All right. All right. Pretty decent week in the summertime. I went ahead, took it really right at target 3 there. That was about 40 ticks for us. For them, it was a little bit more. And I'm just basically anticipating. You see, look at the blue line starting to try to curl around, and then the slope of the R squeeze is going. It just can't go forever. We're up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you count the one before that, 6 candles in a row. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. And it was a bit iffy. I mean, but what did I do? I can tell you. What I did is I traded a pattern. And I traded... a pattern that I trust. Let's get this changed over. Each buff, apply it. That pattern right there. Now, it says that it should break out to the upside. What we did on the initial move to get to that level was really only about like that. Let me change that to a green. Green. Let's make that a 3. Okay. And now let's see, we do a copy. And let's move and see here. Measured move plus a little bit. That's basically a Fibonacci expansion. So, because you add about a third to it on the other side. And that's what we got. And I eyeballed it. And I'm going to say, well, it was still in chop when you went long. Well, not exactly. If I went long over here, it would have been in chop. Over here to the left. But once we got up to here, it was right under the, I say right under this resistance, the highs, but I call it the bodies. It had a breakout, and that's what we went. And the momentum and our squeeze were pointing up. Yeah, humans, no matter what, they do the same thing over and over and over again. You said, well, wait a minute. These are black boxes out there, a lot of it there, Steve. Yeah. And who tells the black boxes what to do? The computer programmers program what the financial traders say that they should be doing. So it's going to repeat over and over and over again what the humans have told the rules are. And a lot of the charts may or may not be able to determine where prior levels are. They may just be taking things like what we've just done and use rules of thumb. When you get up there to a measured move, start taking some off the table. I don't know. I talked to a guy. My son went to a private boarding school up in Connecticut, and I talked to a couple of dads up there. We were watching them play baseball or some shit like that. And the guy was a hedge fund guy, and he told me all kinds of things that they did and didn't do. And I went, wow. I mean, you would think that these guys are really the smartest things out there, right? They're not. They're just connected. Most of them are as dumb as we are. Time frame. We'll have Maria. Thank you for coming over today. I appreciate you just stopping by. That is a Unirenko 1014. Okay, let me on the end of the data series. Let me take a picture of that. I'm done for trading for the day, guys. Okay, gals. Friday. Did I post up Jing to you? Oh, of course it'll be different than a 1 minute. Because it's a Renko chart. Toss has Renko. It's a convoluted way to get there, but I can show you how to do it. And one of the main things, the two main things though that I have problems with the guys from, well, let me finish this thought. The tick trend is 10, the offset is 2, the reversal is 14. Not all of the Renko charts have the reversal number. They just have the trend and the open offset. And some do the open offset the opposite direction. To get a 2 offset, you have to set 8 in there. There's another continuation box that just formed on the NASDAQ. So if we had 4 contracts, did one two at one and one at three, and then now we're trailing to that last one. Amazing. Yeah, and the two biggies. If you've just gotten here, I need to post something for anybody where is thinking about TOS as their futures broker. I want you to look at the compilation of information that I got together on futures brokers. Those are off the internet and reviewers. They're not my opinion. Although my opinion is, from having started trading futures inside Thinkorswim and seeing that the cost was about 85% more than I'm paying at NinjaTrader. And one of the big ones is that once you get started moving and stuff like this, you'll find your charts are slow. And because I believe they use bundled quotes, you aren't getting good quotes. They're going to be behind. They'll lag. You know, if you see it and it's really moving fast, you can see it that it's noticeable and it's significant. Most of the time, it's the less than the human eye can see, but you're still getting delay and slippage. Yeah, and that's what happens almost every morning. If you noticed, it's ridiculous. There's no way you can trade at that. I mean, the market's already having such a big head start on us. Why give them even more advantages? S&P's going. Okay, since I'm done trading, I'm going to bring over the toss for Maria. Okay, do you guys have a problem with that? If you do, tough. I'm going to take care of the ladies here. All right. Let's go here. And do you want to go to the NASDAQ? Is that what you want, Maria? All right, let's go to Style. Time frame setup. I go to time frame. And I want to go to range. Okay, I want to do the time interval. 1 day is fine. I don't want to need more than that. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and put down here is 377 ticks. That was my standard. I'll have it to load. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I made a mistake here. The time interval is not today 377. Okay. Why are you not updating? Well, let's try this. Style. Gotta go ahead and load the style. It's not loading historical data. Does that mean that there's something wrong with the charting program if I can't get anything except the current data and forward? First time I've ever run into that one. Okay. That right here, today, 10 ticks. This should not be happening like this, folks. Okay. Why did that happen? This is all messed up. And what it's doing is it's only taking it from right now. It's not updating. It's not updating my data. Well, you say NASDAQ just took off, huh? Well, what do we do for our measured move? Let's do this. I want to plot that on all NASDAQs. Okay, and that on all NASDAQ charts. Okay, and whoops, come on, get out of the way. We did another measured move, huh? Just like we did yesterday. Maria, I apologize. I have no earthly idea what the heck's going on with their range charts over there. Let me load another style that. Load style. Wow, it's having the same trouble on my other charts as well. There's something going on. I think they've got a problem. Let me try 377. All right. Well, you said you were on a 1 minute chart there. I've got a 3 minute here comparing to the NASDAQ. Let me go over here. Now, let me go back one. Now, what you're seeing here, I'm doing it on range. You're doing it on. So let's do that. Let's bring that up so we could compare them. When we got this big movement, I'm getting it on price, and you get it all in 1 minute. And what this has is stochastics RSI and a TTM squeeze. Please promise me you will not trade futures on Thinkorswim platform. I just don't want you to give the market that much of a handicap. It doesn't need it. Okay, that's fine. And this is the first day I've had trouble with their tick and range charts. This is odd. They probably did an update over the weekend that caused a problem. Yep, I think the Nasdaq move may be over for now. Is the S&P move over? Yeah, it's. I kind of monitor the S&P to what's going on. I'll also monitor. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Crude oil going nowhere. There has to be an impetus behind them going. Yesterday, oil will move really well for a day and then go nowhere for about. You were at the presentation last night. Did you get a chance to stick around for the whole thing? The way I've got it, I mean, it's a green, red, green. It's a 3 candle pattern, but it works only for the 10 Unirenko that way. Sometimes it'll work on the 6, but normally just the 10. But the pattern, I mean, does the pattern have to be only 3 candles? No, it could be 3 or 4. But basically what it is a small box, 4 or less. And you're basically talking about That's a consolidation. That's all that is. But it's a small one. It's not a consolidation like we had right here. Okay, let me do this. We had a consolidation right there that was, you know, in that box right there, but then really it kind of expanded itself. That's kind of a consolidation box. Then it broke up and then it consolidated. Well, why does it consolidate? Why does it move? Well, consolidation is they don't know where they want to go, but they normally get up at, in this case, they were at the bottom of the major. Notice the the peach colored line. It got up to the major resistance line, and which was the breakout level. Old resistance was now support. Once support. All right, I just saw something here. It wasn't tradable. That right there, that's a continuation to the downside. Wasn't in a place where I was going to trade it, so I wasn't looking for it. But this would be red, green, red. Now, look for it. Look and see where your oscillators are. They were pointing down. It was telling me that you probably had a pretty darn good chance of breaking out to the downside. Once it broke to the downside, your stop would be 2 ticks above the highs here. Probably the highs of the body, because I didn't want to do that. Or my volatility stop. My volatility stop's way up here. So I'd probably pick, I'd pick something as close as I had to. And it's kind of I call it, in the military or the aviation world, we call it TLAR. TLAR. That looks about right. So the stop looked about right here, about 68 and 3/4. And you'd have to judge. Now here's where you have to get math involved or eyeballing it. Does it have, where's the next support level? Next support level is somewhere right around here, around 53. When I'm going short, if I go short at 63, that's 10 times 4, that's 40 ticks. All right, can I get 10 and 35 out of it? Yeah, probably. So I could probably, say 15 and 35. So I could get to target 1. That would be pretty good. Their target 1 in the black dot was 32, but that was well above where we actually got in. So it was about 15 or 20. And their target number 2 was 49, subtract about 15, and that would be about 34. So that target right there would have been about my target 3. Right there, sitting right on support. Did it get down there? No. What happened to the volatility stop? The volatility stop came down. Did I have to wait for it to hit the volatility stop? Maybe. My inclination is once it got to that level there and bounced, it bounced early off of the support. Once it got over this first green candle after the red, I'm probably out, because what happened is it went there, it went down, and then it came right back up through it. You'd have to see how that candle developed, or brick. Okay. Yes, the 14 is a 14 tick reversal. So I posted that up. Screenshot, let me bring it up. Great questions, by the way. Thank you very much. This is what we're going to do every day. When you guys have questions and it gets, PhD, piled higher and deeper. Now, the tick trend. A new bar, a new brick, forms at price movement of 10. It offsets it by 2. So they're going to overlap by 2. And the tick reversal is when basically you have to move 14 ticks in the opposite direction for it to do the candle the opposite way. Basically, what does it mean? It's 10 plus 2 plus 2. The offset plus the offset. that tick reversal is less importance, and in fact, it doesn't exist in anything except this Unirinco. I don't know of any other place that has anything other than the tick trend and the open offset. And I play with that 14 number a lot, and it doesn't seem to change much of the way the candles appear. That makes sense to you, Maria? Let's shrink this back down. Hey, no problem. That's what I'm here for. Okay, looks like the Russell is getting weak here. Yeah, it gave a sell signal that could have been taken at 25.8 right there. Both momentums were pointing lower. Target would probably be right here around 23.9. And probably okay. The problem with all of these is, you know, when you look over here to the left, you see a lot of consolidation. It would really be nice if the first swing level was way down here at 22. Those are the perfect setups. Those are the slam dunks. I trusted my pattern up here. We could have done it again. Oops. Will. 30 words. Let's move it up here. You have to train your eyes to see the patterns you're looking for. I only have 3 patterns, one bullish with one bullish and one bearish of each of those. So there are only 6 patterns that you're looking for. Excuse me, basic patterns. Let me bring up the ebook. Did I post the ebook out there? Charts and patterns. Yeah. Come on, what happened there? Okay, I lost it for a second. All right, let's back off a little bit here. Basically, here's your zigzag where you go up and down. In fact, that line might probably have been better drawn. There. That's probably the zigzag. So it's probably probably a poor chart. All right. The opposite of that is down. Like to get a break of a swing level, maybe a retest, and now down, bounce. Where did it go to? It went to the last level basically, and then down. So that's what we're trying to do. That's the inverted zigzag. Pop out of the box is basically a large consolidation area. We're probably talking 10 to 15 boxes or so. And this one's a reversal. A lot of times they go in the same direction, like what happened here. And that in this one, it was going down. It went into a consolidation. It was about 6 boxes on a 10, and then it went lower. Bullish continuation, and this is what we played today. It happened yesterday in the NASDAQ. Twice, 3 times, and it worked. Every one of them. All right. So, and then we have bullish, bearish, where you get to move down. And a lot of times, they'll do a measured move. They don't always. They don't have to. Don't get locked into the fact that it needs to be a measured move. Exactly the same. Even though it worked out that way yesterday and today, don't get locked in that that's exactly what it has to do and to hold out. Read the chart. And when the chart tells you the move is over, the move is over. Okay, and then Russell over here is trying to do a consolidation. Now, is this going to consolidate and go lower? Or is it going to consolidate and reverse up? My reading of the tea leaves, meaning the momentum, is the bias would be to the downside. But it's got to break. The top of the 5-minute opening range is acting as minor support here. But it is minor. NASDAQ's pulling back. All right, any other questions out there, guys and gals? What did I bounced around a little bit. I do apologize. Trying to be responsive. And what questions remain outstanding? I guess the journal. We were getting into the journal, weren't we? And then we came to trade. All right. Here's the journal. I posted it. I kept track, when I was day trading, I kept track of a lot of things. And again, I was trading small because I was just getting started, full-time day trading, doing it, excuse me, the way that the people that I was trading with, that's the way they were doing it. And I would just say the quantity, whether I was long or short, how much I was risking, and these were really small numbers, guys and gals. I mean, we're talking about 25 cent was the maximum that I was risking. Then we're looking at, at exit levels, where, enter, exit, stops. And what's really most important, I think, was the pattern and the comments. Maybe the results, but I'm less inclined to be interested in the profits and losses, is what patterns I was in and what the comments is. I got a late entry. I should have bought at 11.02. I'm going back, and it was only 3 cents, but it was on a $11 stock. Took the heat on low volume pullback, sold early, could have re-entered at 11.22, probably should have held out for more. There was talk about the entry, good entry, withstood a heat on the pullback, got impatient that the breakout wasn't where he sold 100 to reduce the risk, sold too soon, should have kept the stop. And that's kind of what I learned. And one of the things that the mentor that was in the room, he said, Steve, stop moving your stops. Stop moving stuff around. Go with the plan. Have your target 1 and your target 2. Let it work or hit your stop. I went, that's a bit drastic. He said, yep. Try that for a week and see what happens. And sure enough, it did. I still have to battle patience to this day because I'm a very, very high energy, impatient guy. That's just the way I'm built. So one of the ways to get around it, even before I moderated, is I would talk to myself. I would do the cross check. And you heard me talking about where the momentum oscillators are, and kept me calm, kept me in that trade, because I was saying, hey, I didn't get a sell signal. Well, even when we got that consolidation box, we got one that leveled off, but we never got one that actually went and closed to the negative until we got up here. There is the potential that we could have gotten out a bit higher, but I'm okay with what we did. I showed you what the little guy is when you get up to a point where you've hit target 3, what's the greater risk? The risk that it's going to turn around on you, go down, and you're going to give away another 10 ticks? Or is the greater risk that you're going to sell now and it's going to go up another 20? To me, it's the fact that it's probably going to go back down. You have to decide what makes you feel worse. Because feelings are probably important too. What's probably worst part about my trading is I agonize no matter what I do. If I don't sell and it goes down, I go, oh crap, I should have sold it. If I sell it and it goes up, I go, oh crap, I should have held on to it. You can't do that. You've got to say, did I trade the plan? Trade the plan was around 35 ticks. Did I get 35 ticks? Yeah, I got 40. So I got enough. Stop whining, Steve. Take your half out of the middle and be happy. But you're always looking back, and this is one of the things I want to do. That's NinjaTrader. You could use it for free with some minor limitations. That could be major if you're so inclined. Let me... They have their own broker. They bought Mirus Futures a few years ago, about 4 years ago, to instantly get in the game. Data, you have to pay for data feed, $21 a month. Whoop-de-doo. I bought the platform. I have a lifetime license, and the price there was, I think, $1,000. But again, I understand some people don't want to do that, especially right off the bat. And if you don't know whether you want to do it, use the free platform. I can give you all and help you set up your chart so it looks like mine. You can use their brokerage and pay the $21 a month for the only fee that you have to do for the data feed. You fund an account, minimum of 1,000. I think it probably ought to be at least 5. And then, if you want to, you can lease the full up, do it for a quarterly amount or a semi-annual amount. But the big difference is when you have the free version, you don't have it automatically set your targets and stops. To me, that's a big deal in a fast-moving market, because you can fat finger it and make a mistake big time, and I've done it. So I would suggest that beginners and whatever, go ahead and lease it for $180 for a 3-month period, or $330 for a 6-month, something like that. And then realize whether somewhere down the line you're probably going to want to buy the whole thing. Now, why? Let me bring this back up, and I'll come back over to you there, Francis. Okay, let's go back. And the brokerage. Discount prices. I need $500. Sure, you could, absolutely. I mean, I've got people here and here that are trading with TradeStation, MetaTrader. I mean, and even people with Thinkorswim, even though I've told them the limitations, they say, I want to stay with it. I went, okay, it's your call. And we basically we'll set you up in basically the clone of my system. It says you can open up with 1,000, but basically you can't go below 500. So you're probably going to need probably about $4,000 or $5,000 minimum. There's no platform fee, but I told you there probably really needs to be. Let's look at the in the brokers. There should be. Oh, here's view commissions. Okay. I have a lifetime license. I get the best deal. It basically it costs me $3.75, $3.85, something like that, for every round trip contract I do. So if I do one contract and I buy and sell on the same day, It's just under $4. Okay. Per contract, if you are in the flexible payment, goes up by 30 cents per contract. That's not a lot, but you have to lease it. If you use the free platform, you go up by another bunch of money, and it's over double what you would pay for the Lifetime's license. Well, let's look at the all-in rates. And I'm not pushing that as a broker. I like it, but you're talking about $1.80 plus these fees are not inclusive of a clearing broker. Everybody has to have a clearing broker, and a clearing broker makes the biggest chunk of money. There's not a whole lot of competition. It turns out to be about the same as all your commissions, though. So it's $360. So maybe it's $7 for a round trip. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Can I bet a Fed for the room? Yes, you can. You don't have to. Who are you using, Janice, if I can ask? And Francis, I use Ninja Trader platform, Ninja Trader brokerage, and I don't think it really matters much with your clearinghouse that you use. Use Infinity? Fine. Go look and see if they have an indicator called the volume weighted GHT moving average. It may be abbreviated VWMA. That's what mine is. That's the key. If you got that one, we can pretty much set you up. Now, will I be able to color? Will we be able to color code everything for you? Nah. I can guarantee there'll be something that they don't have out there. What do you use as a charting program? You have to pay for the charting program for Infinity there, Janice. And if you don't want to answer any of these questions, that's fine. Or if you want to answer them, you don't have a fee for that. Is it web-based, though? You have a web platform, or do you actually install one? Because I thought Infinity had a charge web. Have you compared the delays in the web or not? I don't know. I've not used it, but when I was doing my research a couple of years ago, when I was moving brokers. Okay. Do you have to pay a platform fee for that, Cliff? I think you probably do, right? Somehow. Sierra Chart has to get their cut somehow. Okay. Not if you make a certain amount of trades. Okay, great. Yeah, Ninja Trader. I've got. I spent another $300 to get a multi-broker license, and I can use my Ninja Trader to trade and chart stocks as well. That's nothing, Cliff. That's nothing. That's good. That's excellent, actually. So you charge $15 a month for the platform. Now, if anyone is a first responder, policeman, fireman, that kind of stuff, or ex-military of any sort, you don't have to be a retiree. TradeStation is doing a deal. There's no data fee, no platform fee, no minimum trades. You do pay something like 83 cents, which is the least payments for Ninja Trader. If anybody's interested, it's TradeStation.com. Okay, and the guy that I worked with that I love to death is Corey Andrews, Corey Andrews. And when you go online, you establish the thing, choose Corey. He's based out of, I think, Boca Raton, Florida. Really nice guy. I had trouble. He got me with their tech support. They tried to help me work the problems that I had where I could not get it, version 9.5 to install. They couldn't get it to install. We installed version 10. Then we ran into problems that my computer, for some reason, would not upload any except the standard out of the box indicators. So I closed the account. If I can't customize it the way I need it to do, there's no sense in having it. I was disappointed because it looked pretty good. All right. Okay, Kellyanne asked a good question. Can I copy that and post that over to the main general chat, Kellyanne? Because I think that'd be a good question for everybody to see. Okay, feel free. If there's obviously there's privacy stuff, I mean that's fine. So you check with Ninja and he's solved the sims that their sim platform is free, but they provide. Now you can get a trial period. I think 2 weeks for free, but that's maybe not enough to do sim. And right, 2 weeks for free. That's not enough really to get up to speed really. Okay. I do not know the question you asked there. I could research it. You open an account where you only trade sim. If you have the account and you sit dormant, I know from past experience when I had to take a month off. I think there's some sort of trailing figure or whatever. Yes, there is a not. You have to have an activity fee. And I don't know what it was. I can go back and look. I had to go over to England for an extended period of time, and I didn't trade, and I got zapped. No big deal. It wasn't an exorbitant amount of money. Okay. More questions, please. Feel free to ask. Now, Francis, I am not going to point your stuff over to the room, but I'm going, Francis. I'll be posting the copy of the presentation last night up to my YouTube channel later today. So it will be available later tonight and then forever. My YouTube channel is Joe. You can get 2 weeks free data from Ninja just for downloading and giving him your information and setting up a demo account. I did that, and all right, not ready for live training? Sign up and get started. You can download it. I can give you all the indicators that you probably need, minus the ones that are proprietary, and which are only a couple of them. It's really the counterpunch trader stuff that gives you the buys and sells. Oh, thanks, Cliff. It wasn't up to my standard. There were a couple things that I didn't cover in there that I look back on it and go, shoot, that I kind of messed up there. Right. Well, I'll look. I think that the data feeds are absorbed or maybe financed by a little bit by the brokerage. So for NinjaTrader, Ninja Broker, it's $7 each, or $21 for the CME bundle. To me, go ahead and spend the $21 for the CME bundle. Then you'll get the ES, the NASDAQ, the Russell, the Dow, and you'll get gold and oil. So you get basically all the biggies for 21. All that I need. All right. If anybody wants to have in a free consultation, no obligation, want to talk to me, chat to me about futures, see if you think that it might be right for you and you want to go over your personal information to whatever extent you wanted to reveal to me, and we tailor to you. We can talk for about 45 minutes to an hour, unless you want to talk less than that. And drop me an email. Tell me you'd like to set up a time to get together. And I'm going to basically tell you right now, I will help everyone who signs up to be a member to set up their system. I can't do it for everybody because I just don't have enough time in the day. I don't have enough bandwidth. So I had to draw it somewhere, and it's going to be the people who sign up. It's only $273. Today we made $285. It paid for the whole year in one trade. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not going any further. All right. I was asked a question about Counterpunch and I'll call it clone setups and whatever. Let me show you what I've got that doesn't cost money and what I'm happy to share. Okay. Let me find it. Okay. You might recognize this a little bit. All right. What you see here is what's readily available when you sign up in the room. You could probably cobble together the same one without me. But this is one I will help you with at a minimum. It has the swing levels. It has the volatility stops, which helps you determine where calculated stops would be. Remember, we use swing levels as targets and breakout levels. So that's kind of the entry. So do you need the Counterpunch Trader system? Maybe not. I already spent the money, so I will use it. I can tell you why in a second, Mark. And then you've got the R squeeze, which is the fastest of the two. If you wanted to have two, one that kind of a clone of the Counterpunch Trader system, that's basically 5 times higher, we can go in there and we could tweak this a second R squeeze, the Bollinger Band squeeze, so that it looks and behaves very similar, if not exactly like that one before. You have one fast and one slow. I only put it up there because it's available. I focus primarily on this TTM squeeze or Bollinger Band squeeze. It's called R squeeze. And I can provide that for you. And then you've got Trader pivots, and I can set up the color codes for you, and I can show you where I've got the color codes for when we have up candles and down trends, down candles and down trends. They have different colors, so it helps you.